Rick Ross found out there was a movie coming out on Remy Ma's network called The Biggest Boss, and it was about this correctional officer who was like this dirty cop who turned rapper.
Oh, that's
Now,
Rick
that
Ross. That's Rick Ross.
story sounded really familiar because that's awfully similar to Rick Ross' life story. So Rick
Literally.
Ross sent a cease and desist to Remy Ma's network not to put out that particular movie. His reasoning for the cease and desist was he believes that the movie is infringing on his name and likeness. But honestly, I think the real reason is Rick Ross understands that if that movie comes out, if it takes steam, it's gonna have a lot of questions about his past for the new generation or
We
people who
already
forgot
know that,
about this
though,
story.
yeah.
Because Rick Ross has been pretty inconsistent when telling his story and has lied a lot
He want
about
people to forget about it.
like what his work was as a correctional officer or how long he did it and why he did it or him even doing it at all.
Right.
So because Rick Ross has been pretty inconsistent and has lied a lot about his past as a correctional officer, this movie coming out would expose him badly. So now he's having a temper tantrum. Trying to
Niggas
get
be
the
crazy. I wouldn't give a damn. The only reason people look at Rick Ross crazy is because you came out and your name is Rick Ross. You named yourself after a drug kingpin, okay? And then you came out talking about how you was selling drugs and doing this, and you was in the streets and you was a gangster and all this. And then we found out you was the police. You was a correctional officer in a fucking jail. That's the only reason you look crazy. But I mean, nigga, you don't rap no more. You don't make no money off no rap. Nobody really get no fuck that much, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, gang. Like, we gonna talk about this shit in our video. And then as soon as the video done, bro, we gonna go back to our regular life, shorty. Like, we don't care about Rick Ross used to be the popo. You rich at the end of the day. Ain't no girl finna not give you no pussy because you used to be the police. It's just not. Like,
movie shut down before it comes
who
out.
cares?
After Rick Ross sent the cease and desist, we find out that is Remy Ma's network, but she's not really involved in the creation of the movies.
Right.
It's kind of like you create your movie, you bring it to her, she give you like a deal for the movie.
Right.
So the deal was created by third party. I think Brick Baby is also in the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
So it sounds like one of the movies ain't nobody gonna watch. Okay.
Article reads Rick Ross.
So why the fuck do you care?
You know, like he respects the hustle, but he's saying Remy Ma has gone too far. The biggest boss is going after Remy and her network for a movie that he says rips off his name and likeness and his music. Remy is apparently planning to release the film called Biggest Boss on her platform, the Remy Network. Now, according to a letter sent by Rick Ross attorneys and obtained by TMZ, Rick Ross is claiming the project features the unauthorized use of his music and trade name and demanding they halt the project from going forward. Not only that, Rick Ross says it's confusing fans into thinking he has something to do with the movie, citing comments on social media. Now, a rep for Remy Ma tells TMZ Remy was personally unaware of the concerns raised regarding Rick Ross and takes the matter seriously. She has maintained a personal and professional relationship with Rick Ross for more than 20 years and would never intentionally engage in any action that could harm.
That's why I can't do the industry shit. I can't go through all this weird shit. Like, I
From
can't.
him, his brand, or cause offense.
I just can't do it.
Now, the film is apparently about a police officer who steals a drug dealer's life story and turns it into a rap career. Very similar to Rick Ross' own, backstory, which I said earlier, of being a correctional officer turned rapper. Now, apparently, like Remy Ma's rep is saying that Remy Ma has reached out to Rick Ross directly, and upon being made aware of the issue, the title was immediately removed from the platform. The Remy Network is now closely working with its partners to strengthen review processes and ensure that situations like this do not occur moving forward. But here's the problem, though. Remy Ma, she only removed the title.
Mm-hmm.
The movie itself is still going forward.
Right.
Now, the title, The Biggest Boss, is not on it, but, I mean, anybody can use their brain and say, this sounds awfully similar to the Rick Ross life story. And I can almost guarantee Rick Ross is still not going to be happy. He's still He's still going to do whatever he can to make sure
but it's not
that
gonna
this
work.
project is halted completely because he doesn't want to get exposed. See, Rick Ross for years have been
see, that's the thing I don't understand. Like, okay, I'm not nowhere near as rich as Rick Ross yet, but I will be. But I got a few million, you know what I'm saying? You think I'm picking up my phone and calling the Lord? Bro, I got a pool in my backyard, bro. My crib 3-4 million, bro. The fuck do I care about? I got a movie theater upstairs, bro. Hold on, y'all. This is my clothing brand. I need y'all to go support your boy, okay? And supporting your boy with some pretty cheap clothing, all right? And you gonna be fly and fresh as hell, man. All right, link in the description. Theari.us. Go shop. What the fuck do I care about, y'all? What the hell? I don't care about this movie coming out, nigga. That's the only thing I be caring about. Y'all ain't got nothing better to do. If I'm Rick Ross, that nigga owns a plane. He's past the jet. That nigga owns an airplane. Like, this shit look like a Delta plane, folks. That's his. Nigga, you think I give a fuck about this movie coming out about, man, I don't give no damn about that, man. I'm on a yacht in Monaco somewhere, chilling. In Morocco eating smoked duck. You think I give a fuck about somebody coming out with a movie about it? I don't give a damn. Why do you care? That's my only question.
In regards to his career as a correctional officer.
Why do you
care? When Rick Ross was recently asked by the Full Send podcast, Rick Ross says that he only worked as a correctional officer for 4 months, and he never really made it past the training stage. He never really made it to the prison.
By the way, too, you worked, I don't know if you want to talk about it all, because this is your room.
I can't wait.
So were you a correctional officer at one point?
I was, yeah.
So going all the way back. When was that? How long ago?
Maybe when I was 20.
20 years old.
Yeah.
What kind of people were in there?
You know, I didn't really get to make it to the prison because you got to go through training and all that, and I didn't last long.
Right.
I may have lasted 4 months.
Right.
Before they said,
yeah,
I was a little tardy.
What made you want to do that?
One of my big homies had just got in trouble, and a lot of things were going on, and he just suggested it.
You fuck with it or no?
No, I didn't. Anything you got to really do, and fucking running and jogging and all of that shit, man. I missed a few days.
What was your paycheck a week then?
It was horrendous.
How much?
It's like $25K a year, I saw, right?
No, some shit like $500 every 2 weeks.
$500 every 2 weeks.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How long did it take?
They was trying to tell, they wanted me to do right, man. They said they seen greatness in me. Yeah. They wanted me to be great, man. And they actually had 2 choices for me, a fireman or corrections officer.
Imagine Rick Ross, you're in a fire and Rick Ross comes and saves you.
So this supposed Rick Ross, ultimate drug dealing, gangster, drug selling, brick slanging, the boss. And the reason, I'm gonna be honest, bro, like this shit like this don't matter to me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I seen Rick Ross right now, I'd be like, what up, nigga? I just be clowning. I clown myself on the internet, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't like how people be trying to act like and keep up a persona and all that shit. Like, bro, everybody that did like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody really give a damn, bro. But I'm gonna tell you like this: if you was such a big gangster, drug dealing, coke selling, brick slanging, you would have signed up to be a fireman way before you signed up to be the police. So it's like I can't take a grown man serious who talks about selling bricks when he used to be a correction. It's just
you'll probably burn like
a saving your ass. He's getting your girl, leaving you.
No, it's just sometimes
Rick Ross saves a cat out of the tree.
I'm gonna be honest. Summer wouldn't have anything to worry about.
She wouldn't. Well, guess what? We keep it. We have a lot of fire alarms in our apartment, and we're very protective there. We make sure no fires happen in that apartment. So
what apartment?
You take your ladder. You can take your ladder and you can take it down to Egypt's house and go over there.
No, because that was a nice apartment. What apartment building was it?
Everything Rick Ross just said right here was a lie. And how we know this? Well, 1090 Jake proved it. So Rick Ross said he was only a correctional officer for about 4 months. He never really went to no jails or prisons. Well, maybe county jail. But he never really went to prison or the big boy prison. He didn't really operate in his official duties as a correctional officer. He was never engaged in no snitching or police activity. But 1090 Jake did a video where he broke down, not only is the 4-month story not true, much of what Rick Ross has to say about his time as a correctional officer is not true.
Not true.
In new news, back in 2008, pictures would be released of Ross in uniform, and he'd speak exclusively with all hip-hop stating, "My life is 100% real." These online hackers
Oh my God.
putting a picture of my face when I was a teenager in high school on other people's body.
He called them hackers, bro. You know the nigga just panicking. He called them He called these niggas hackers. That's not a hacker. You don't have, what the fuck? Bro, did you hear this, bro? This man said, online hackers put a picture of my face when I was a teenager in high school on other people's body. If this shit was real, don't you think they would have more specifics like dates? And so you've tried to act like this shit was fake and it just never happened and somebody made some shit up, which people do all the time. Like, is that hurting your soul or something? Like, you can't look yourself in the mirror and admit the fact that you was a correctional officer, bro. You're already rich. You don't have to keep the persona up no more, bro. Nobody's listening to your songs anymore. Like,
if this shit was real, don't you think they would have more specifics,
bro. This
like
embarrassing,
dates and
bro.
everything? So a then 32-year-old Ross claimed the pic was photoshopped, his kingpin lifestyle was real, and there was no proof behind the CO allegations. Well, a media website by the name of The Smoking Gun would send in a public records request receiving 86 pages from the Florida Department of Corrections about Officer Ricky's short career. A photo of William Roberts, aka Rick Ross's state of Florida application, would state he received his diploma from Miami Carroll City High and went on to Albany State University to study criminal justice.
so you wanted to be a cop. So before you decided that you was gonna be this rapping drug kingpin dude that and act like that, you went to college for criminal justice. So that means you wanted to be law enforcement. What it sound like to me? Any nigga that go to college for criminal justice and then right after college or during college, you go and apply to be a correctional officer and go to training. It seems like to me you want to be a law enforcement officer, which isn't a gangster. So I just like
Albany State University
it's not making sense, bro.
to study criminal justice. On his supplementary application, he'd state his nickname was Big East and denied knowing anyone in prison, along with never working in prison or in law enforcement. Now, with every new recruit, the Department of Corrections wants to know how willing you are to complete your correctional duties.
Right.
Ross would check off he's willing to work rotating shifts, carry a firearm, and work with violent inmates, homosexuals, etc. He'd also state he's willing to shoot an inmate who's attempting to escape, body search a male or female inmate, and write an incident report. In 1995, Ross would take an oath of loyalty to support the Constitution and would receive a letter stating he's now officially a correctional officer trainee at the South Florida Reception. Now officially a correctional officer trainee at the South Florida Reception Center. 5 months later, it was now 1996, and Ross would receive an award for completing 540 hours of basic training.
So you did get past training.
Receive an award for completing.
This is your name, bro. State of Florida, the Commission on Criminal Justice Standards and Training, Basic Recruit Certificate, Certificate of Compliance, Correctional Officers. Nigga, you got your ass up and went to a correctional officers training for 540 hours, bro. After graduating from high school and going to Albany State University for criminal justice. Bro.
540 hours of basic training. Ross was
first he said that some hackers hacked his face on another. That's what he said. Then he said he ain't get past.
Now an official corrections officer.
You know all
he
this
can be
shit is
seen
public
taking
record,
a picture
right?
at his graduation ceremony.
Exactly. This is the picture that you're graduating in the fucking picture, bro.
4 months later, he'd
bro.
receive a certificate of appreciation for perfect attendance.
Perfect
from
attendance.
The same
I was a little tardy. Loser.
What?
woman he can be seen shaking hands with at his ceremony. But eventually, all good things must come to an end. And in June of 1997, Ricky Rose sent in a resignation
That
letter.
nigga said he lasted 4 months. He went to training in 95 and resigned in 97. He said, man, fuck this police stuff. I'm finna go be a gangster rapper. Ugh.
And officially left the force.
Bro.
But like I said, this isn't new news. This came out back in 2008,
Right.
and 50 Cent started calling Ross Officer Ricky in 2009. That same year, Rick Ross would admit to Double XL it was in fact him in the pictures. He'd state, me not answering or addressing that situation has nothing to do with my career. I've accomplished enough and I've made enough money for me to be good. Yes, it was me in those pictures, but I'ma tell you this. Me taking that job, I was doing my job. You understand what I mean?
No.
He continue on saying the stuff he talks about is real, the dope is real, and the gun talk is official.
No, it's not.
But fans would forever speculate, when exactly was Rick Ross in the streets serving bricks?
Right.
In an interview with the full...
When the fuck were you in the street serving bricks? Please let us understand that, bro. Let's do some Google searching. When did Rick Ross blow up? No, let's leave. When did Rick Ross start rapping? Rick Ross started rapping in the mid to late 90s, forming the group Carol City Cartel. Okay? He signed a deal with Def Jam in 2006 before his mainstream success. So he didn't really get out of Miami. Let's see. Port of Miami. Rick Ross release date. So this is the one that took him off. So the Port of Miami is what really took him off. That was in 06, which is probably after he signed the Def Jam deal, okay? So in 06, you turned up. In 96, 95, 96, 97, you were training and you were a correctional officer. That was when you was 20 years old. Before then, you was in high school and then you went to college. So you was in high school, you went to college, then you went to be a correctional officer for 3 years, and then you was a full-time rapper. When the fuck were you killing people and serving bricks, bro?
Send podcast, the alleged kingpin was asked about his time as a corrections officer in Florida State Prison.
You now obviously know the lie that Rick Ross told. He told
Right.
them folks he was only there for 4 months.
What?
When in fact he was there for 18 months. If you look at the timeline, even receiving an award for perfect attendance.
After
But
he said he was
that's
tardy.
the thing, right? I think Rick Ross is going above and beyond to try to stop this because for some reason, man, he has this.
And then he said in the interview, I made it enough money for me to be good. So why 20 fucking years later, when a movie comes out that's emulating and similar to your life story, you try to sue them? Why do you still care 20 years later? It's like you just can't live with the fact that you ain't a gangster for real. And that's why these niggas, these grown ass men, be getting on Instagram, they get on Twitch, they get on live, they get on every fucking thing walking, everything with the internet, and post up pictures with guns and all that. That's why they do that shit, bro.
Weird thing with his past as a correctional officer when I don't understand why.
Who cares?
Bro, you were gainfully employed, right? You was not a police officer per se. Now you do have to swear to protect the Constitution. So
he was a
you are
police
somewhat of
officer,
an
bro.
officer, but
He was an officer, bro.
who cares?
Bro, who cares?
Right?
Literally.
Like, who cares? Now, do I believe like the Rick Ross story of selling dope? I
No.
know. Like Rick Ross was in high school,
In college.
went to college,
Exactly.
and then he started working as a correctional officer.
When the
At
fuck was
what
you selling
point in
bricks?
between that time did Rick Ross have time to sell drugs? And then he became a famous rapper shortly afterwards. So no, I don't buy like the drug dealing tale. And obviously we now know that he stole the name from the real kingpin Rick Ross.
Right.
Right? That's just a fact. Yeah, but like Rick Ross feeling like he has to hide being a correctional officer to me is stupid. Only in our community would somebody feel like having a job like that where he's gainfully employed, he got benefits, he's making hella money. Only in our community will we feel like that right there is something to be ashamed of. I don't
Exactly.
understand it, not one bit, right? Especially because like if we don't have any type, like, okay, for example, right, bro? If Rick Ross don't have any type of snitching accusations in his past, if nobody has been accusing Rick Ross of telling on him,
Man, who
putting
cares?
them in
Even
prison,
if they
putting them
did,
in
bro.
jail, then why would being a correctional officer be something where it's like, yo, we are laughing at you or it's something to be ashamed of? It's not at all. There's a lot more things to be ashamed of than being a correctional officer. Trust me, man. Now, I don't know if Remy Ma is going to stop the movie from coming out completely, but I don't think Rick Ross is satisfied with just the name being changed. That's just a fact, okay? But let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? Do y'all believe Rick Ross when he says he's only been a correctional officer for 4 months? Do y'all believe that Rick Ross is filing this cease and desist, not because of name and likeness, but because he don't want the story to come out to expose him? Let me know in the comment section, okay? If you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, then click on this video here.
Dorks, grown ass dorks. That's all I be seeing on the internet, man. It's crazy.